this is Tanya. Welcome to Tanya Tina's Maths. I would be teaching CBSE Class 10 Maths and this is my sister Tina Lopez. I teach 8th Maths. Alright, now let's jump into the video. Today we are going to be learning Chapter 6 Triangles Exercise 6.2 9th question. Alright, now let's read the question. ABCD is a trapezium in which AB is parallel to DC and its diagonals intersect each other at the point O. Show that AO by BO is equal to CO by DO. So this is the question. Okay. So this is also similar to rest of the questions, but here we are supposed to draw trapezium. Okay. So trapezium is a quadrilateral, since you guys know. So now let us show the figure that is trapezium. First of all, now let us draw trapezium. Okay. So let us draw trapezium. So trapezium looks something like this. So we are supposed to draw like this and like this and like this and join this. Okay guys, so this is a trapezium. So now we shall name this trapezium, that is A, B, C, D. Okay, so it is a trapezium A, B, C, D. Okay guys, so it is a trapezium ABCD. According to the question, we are supposed to draw trapezium ABCD. That's why I drew trapezium ABCD, in which AB is parallel to DC. So AB is parallel to DC and its diagonals intersect each other at the point O. So since they mentioned diagonals right over here, now we shall draw diagonals. So diagonals means like this, crisscross. In middle we are supposed to crisscross. Okay. Okay, we are supposed to draw something like this. Okay, so it is intersecting at midpoint, that is O. Okay, so now according to the question we just drew the diagram. Until here, no, they just mentioned the details of trapezium. Now we are supposed to show that AO by BO is equal to CO by DO. Okay, show that means something kind of like prove that. Okay, so for that let us write given. So what are the things given in the question? So what are the things given in the question? So according to the question, AB is parallel to DC. It is given. Am I right? So now let us write AB is parallel to DC. So it is given in the question. Alright. So now what are we supposed to prove? You can just write to prove, otherwise you can just write show that. Okay. So what are we supposed to prove? We are supposed to prove AO by BO is equal to CO by DO. This one we are supposed to prove. Am I right? So now what are we going to do is, after writing the proof, no, we usually write proof. Am I right? But here we are not going to be writing proof. Instead of that, we are going to be constructing something. So let us write construction. Okay. So we are going to be constructing something. So let us write construction. For that, what are we going to construct in this trapezium? So first of all, when you just look at the question, according to the question, so here according to the question, we are supposed to show this one, that is AO by BO is equal to CO by DO. Okay. When you just look at the previous sums, we whenever we used to have AB is parallel to DC, which is mentioned in the question, already given in the question, we are supposed to use BPT, that is basic proportionality theorem. So whenever we have something like this to prove, that is AO is by BO is equal to CO by DO, whenever we used to have something like this to prove, we usually use BPT, that is Thales theorem, basic proportionality theorem. But when you just look at the previous questions, no, we usually have a parallel line. In the question itself, they might have mentioned parallel line. So something, so in middle we used to have a parallel line. So that parallel line is parallel to this one, this line. They used to mention that. But in this question, they didn't just mention that. Am I right? since it is a trapezium, they didn't just give any information about the parallel line. Just they told that AB is parallel to DC. Why? Because in trapezium, no, that is the property of trapezium, in which the opposite side, no, it is parallel. That is the meaning of trapezium. But here they just mentioned this one, but they didn't just mention a parallel line. So we used to have a parallel line in middle. Usually we used to have in parallel line in middle, which was mentioned in the previous questions. Am I right? But here they didn't just mention that. So what are we supposed to do is we are supposed to construct that. So I am going to be drawing a line in middle, so to show that it is parallel. Okay, so we are supposed to take it like that. Okay, though if they don't mention that in question, if we are using BPT, no, that is basic proportionality theorem. So I just showed you guys the clue. Am I right? So if you think that we are supposed to use BPT, that is basic proportionality theorem, we are supposed to draw a parallel line. Okay, sometimes they might have mentioned in the questions. If not, we are supposed to draw a parallel line. Okay, alright. So now we drew a parallel line. So we are supposed to name that parallel line as PQ. Whatever it is up to you. So you can just I'm just naming it as PQ. So since I drew this parallel line, we can't just draw it randomly like that. We are supposed to mention that as well. So since I drew it, I am going to be mentioning it right over here in the construction part. Okay, so in construction I am going to be mentioning draw PQ through O. So it is going through this center point. Am I right? That is O. So I am just writing that. Okay, so through O, and then parallel to AB and DC. Okay, so it is parallel to AB as well as DC. Am I right? So AB is here and DC is here. So this PQ, so this PQ is parallel to AB as well as DC. Am I right? So this is mentioned in the question. Alright guys. Sorry guys, I just drew the points little bit different. In the first page I just wrote D right over here. Am I right? So I just put it ulta. Okay, so now it's perfect, I guess. So it is correct. A, B, C, D. Okay, so here it is C and here it is D. Okay guys, so this is D. Alright, so now finally we did construction. So now we can just show the proof. Okay, so just because we drew this parallel line, no, it's going to be really useful for us. Okay, so whenever we used to draw a parallel line or whenever we used to have a parallel line, we usually take triangle, in triangle, ABC, ADC, those things and all we used to take it. Otherwise we used to write AB is parallel to something else. We used to take it like that. Am I right? So likewise here also I am going to be doing the same thing. So now let us take triangle ADB. So this triangle. Okay. Okay, I am going to be taking this triangle, that is triangle ADB. So you guys might be wondering, why can't I take this triangle or this triangle? No, we are supposed to take only this triangle, that is ADB. So you guys might be wondering, how come? How it is possible? How can we take ADB? Can't we just take other triangles as well? So I am just taking ADB. So according to the question, when you just look at the question, we are supposed to prove AO by BO is equal to CO by DO. Am I right? We are supposed to prove this one. So let me just write it here for your understanding. So AO by BO is equal to CO by DO. Am I right? So where is AO? So AO is right over here, and where is BO? BO is right over here. And where is DO? DO is here. CO is somewhere else, but majority, what are we supposed to prove? No, in that majority of the points are lying in this triangle. That's why I am just taking this triangle first. Okay, so now let us take triangle in triangle ADB. Okay, I am just taking triangle ADB. So in triangle ADB, so that is ADB, this PQ is there, right? So this PQ is parallel to AB. Otherwise we can just write AB is parallel to PQ. Am I right? So in this triangle we have this parallel line. Am I right? So though we have PO, so instead of just taking PO, we can just take the whole complete line, that is PQ. Okay, so we can just write if you want to write here, you can just write it. AB is parallel to PQ. Okay, just because to show that it is parallel only, we just drew this line, am I right? We just did construction. Likewise, so now AB is parallel to PQ. It's gonna be really useful for us. Okay, so just because of this parallel line only, we are able to take this triangle ADB. Otherwise, we won't be able to take this triangles and all. Okay, so if you don't have the parallel line, it is really going to be hard to solve this problem. Okay, so parallel line, it is really a good one for us. Okay, it's going to be really useful for us. Okay, so make sure that to draw a parallel line. Okay, without parallel line, you can't just solve this question. Okay, so if you have parallel line, we can just take triangle, like triangle ADB. Why did I take triangle ADB? Why? Because according to the question, majority of the points are lying on the triangle ADB. Okay guys, so now we can just apply BPT, am I right? So we usually apply it. So I just told you guys the clue how to apply BPT in the particular question. In the previous questions, no, if we just understood what I tried to say, no, then it's going to be really easy to solve this question as well. Okay, so now let us apply BPT, that is basic proportionality theorem, in this triangle ADB. Okay, so how are we supposed to apply it? So here we are supposed to write AP by PD is equal to BO by DO. So we can just write it like that, am I right? So now let us write it. So AP by PD is equal to BO by DO. Otherwise you can okay, so by DO. So finally we just wrote it. So by which theorem? By BPT. So whenever in question, if they give something to prove, if it is something like equal to something else, then that is this one. Like this, if they had mentioned in the question, then we are supposed to use BPT. Okay, so no confusion in that. Alright, so now we used BPT. Alright, so now we can just take it as equation number 1. So after applying BPT, we usually take equation number 1, equation number 2 like this. Okay, so like that, here also we can just take equation number 1. Okay, alright guys, so whenever we used to apply BPT, no, after that step we used to take it as equation number 1. After that step, no, what we used to do is we used to take another one triangle. Likewise, we shall take another one triangle. So I am going to be taking triangle ADC. So now you guys might be wondering, why am I taking triangle ADC? Why? Because I am not going to be focusing on the majority of the points. I am going to be focusing on what we are supposed to prove. Okay, so we are supposed to prove AO by BO is equal to CO by DO. So where is AO? AO is here. Where is BO? BO is here, that is somewhere else. Okay, so where is CO? CO is here, DO is here. So the CO and DO, no, they are lying on this triangle. Am I right? But here, when we just proved the first one, in the first equation, we got BO and DO. So where is BO? BO is here, DO is here. So it is on this triangle, that is triangle ADB. Where is CO and DO? CO and DO, they are lying on this triangle, that is CO is here, DO is here. They are lying on this triangle, that is triangle ADC. That's why I am taking this triangle. Try to understand it. If you don't understand right now, no, don't worry. When I'll just solve the problem, no, it's gonna be easy for you guys. So now let us take triangle in triangle ADC. In a triangle ADC, which one is parallel to which one? So DC is parallel to PQ. So we can just write DC is parallel to PQ. I can just take it right like this, am I right? So likewise I just took it. So according to triangle ADC, now we are supposed to apply BPT. How I did it right over here. So now let us apply BPT. So where is triangle ADC? Yeah, it's over here. So AP by PD is equal to AO by CO. Okay, by BPT, that is basic proportionality theorem. Okay, I can just take it as equation number 2. Alright guys, so now what we are supposed to do is Now let us write from equation number 1 and 2. So here when you just compare equation number 1, no, so here we have AP by PD and here also we have AP by PD, which are similar, so we can just ignore that. Am I right? So let us ignore these two similar values. So when I just ignore it, I can just write rest of the values as it is. Am I right? So I am going to be writing it. So BO by DO is equal to AO by CO. But when you just compare it with what we are supposed to prove, no, it is completely different. Am I right? So don't worry, guys. So now what we are supposed to do is we are supposed to do cross multiply. So when we just cross multiply those things and all, we can just write, yeah. So we can just we can just write AO by BO is equal to CO by DO. So if you guys don't understand how come this is possible, no, I'll just explain it. Okay, so now I just wrote the same value as it is right over here, so I'm going to be cross multiplying them. Okay, so now let us cross multiply. So BO into CO is equal to AO into DO. Am I right? So here when I just so actual thing what we want to get is this one, that is AO by BO. So we are supposed to take BO to this side. Okay, so we are supposed to take BO to this side, then only it's possible. Okay, so when we just take BO to this side, now it is AO into DO by BO. Okay, so now what I can do is I can just take BO to this side. So it is in the we can just take DO to this side. Okay, so when I just take this DO to this side, so here it is in the multiplication form. When I just take it to this side, it changes into divide. Okay, so now it is CO by divided by DO. So now here we have AO divided by BO. This is what we want. Am I right? According to the question, we are supposed to prove this one. Am I right? But here when you just compare this with the question, and this in the ulta form. Am I right? So AO by BO is supposed to come to this side and CO by DO is supposed to come to another side. Those things doesn't matter. Okay, so we can just write it like this. Okay, if it is in the ulta wise form, no, you can just write it correct wise. Okay, like this you can just write it, no worries. Okay, so now this is what you are supposed to prove. Am I right? So likewise I just proved it, so it is exactly similar. Am I right? So now finally I just proved it. So since we proved it, we are supposed to write hence proved. Okay, I hope you guys understood this. So if you guys have confusion between triangles, I mean which triangle we are supposed to take, don't worry. First you are supposed to understand the diagram properly, that is the trapezium. So here if you understand the diagram properly, that is the trapezium, and if you understand what we are supposed to prove, so this is what we are supposed to prove. Am I right? If you just understand it properly, we are supposed to get AO by BO. So here when I just take this triangle, then only we are supposed to will get these two values. If I take another one triangle, that is triangle ABC, we won't get this value. Am I right? So we are supposed to think at first. Okay, after thinking only you can just solve it. Okay, so if I just take this triangle, then we'll get stuck in right over here. Then we are supposed to scratch the whole thing and we have to do it again. So first think that in which triangle we will get these values, that is AO by BO and CO by DO. Okay, so when I just took this triangle and this triangle, here when I just took it, no, I got BO and DO, so which is mentioned in the question. Okay guys, so I have BO right over here, DO is here. So when I just compare to what we are supposed to prove, I have BO here, DO here, and here AO, CO, AO is here, CO is here. So I have all the values. So when I just take this triangle and this triangle only, I will get those values. If I just take another triangles, that is this triangle, then I won't be able to solve it. Am I right? So please think and do the sums. Okay. So this was somewhat like different compared to the other question just because of the trapezium. But if you just take an example of another questions, that is from question number 3. If you just look at those questions and all, no, we usually take triangles. Since it was trapezium, no, we got confused between which triangle we are supposed to use. Okay, so don't worry, we are supposed to take those values which is mentioned in the question. Okay, just a simple thing I would like to say is we are supposed to take which is mentioned in the question. So here it is AO which is there. When I just took triangle ADC, I got AO, and here it is CO. So when I just took ADC, I got CO. When I just took ADB, I got BO and DO. Which one? I got it right over here. Am I right? So those things and all, we are supposed to think and do it. Okay. So please guys, think and do it. Then only you will be able to solve like this type of questions. In the rest of the questions, it was easy to solve just because we had one triangle. Okay. So finally we proved it. Okay. Thank you guys for watching this video. Please like this video, share it to your friends and subscribe to our YouTube channel. If you have any doubt, you can comment me in the comment section. Catch you in the next video. Bye.